I believe we are live on YouTube. This is Melissa Cady, the Challenge Doctor, with my co-host, Dr. Kevin Cuccaro. And we're here for our Saturday Salutations on December 3rd, 2022. And of course, on our Saturday Salutations, we like to let you know what's happened recently on the podcast and maybe what's upcoming, maybe share a few tidbits of things that we've enjoyed this past week or two, or thoughts or diversions and tangents that might take us. How are you doing there, Kevin?
Where are we?
We should be on YouTube.
Can we see it? Just because
I am going to send a link here.
Yeah.
Copy and send to you in our chat. See if you can find it.
Oh, as our chat.
We are getting acclimated to this new YouTube live. It says that we are live, so I'm assuming we are. So I'm going to let Kevin check in and see if he finds it.
Oh, there we go. Okay. It says live stream offline.
Offline. I don't know. Let's see.
Whatever. Well, it'll work. We'll figure it out.
It worked last time, so we're going to just assume that it is. So, well, let me just bring up what's happened in the last week. And let's see here. From last Sunday, actually, let's roll back because we did not do a Saturday Salutations last weekend.
Because of the holiday.
Because of the holiday. So we all hope if you celebrate Thanksgiving, you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And according to, let's see, this would be the 20th. We had a host chat with episode 226 called The Insidiousness of Change. We talk about that phenomenon. Make sure to check out that episode. We did a Thursday throwback for episode 41 back in the day with Dr. Peter Lehman.
Yeah, Peter. He's a great guy.
Yeah, he's starting a direct primary care, coming out of a traditional practice. Fantastic episode. If you are into understanding what direct primary care is, or want to know what the grassroots effort is into creating a more sustainable primary care practice that's more enjoyable not only by the practitioner but also the patient, I would definitely listen to that episode. The following week, which was right after Thanksgiving, we had Dr. Eric Tate, returning guest, internal medicine physician who practices 1 day a week, but also has an MBA, I believe, and is extremely knowledgeable about economics, loves, geeks out over economics, loves financial things, and does amazing things investment-wise. He has Vernonville as part of his investment arm. He also has the Physician's Road, which is a fantastic place to start as a physician to understand a lot of the things that maybe you should consider if you're trying to look at other ways to make your life and career more sustainable, maybe by maybe considering putting time and investments in other things. There is episode 227 with Dr. Tate with the state of the economy, or his take on it. And then our recent Thursday throwback was Dr. Ali Abdal, who in episode 42 was just coming out as his first year as a physician, finished his medical school as a UK physician, but he's become very successful at YouTube. So if you want to know more about him.
I think he finishes the British equivalent of residency, junior doctor or something,
or an internship. Was it an internship? We have to go back and look, but it wasn't like he hasn't gone through a full specialty training. So you have to check that out, and you can see what he's been up to. He's all over social media. So any comments about any of those, Kevin, or do you want to just share something from the last couple weeks?
No, other than, it's always fun to talk to Eric Tate. I always enjoy those discussions. He's got I got one of those fun minds that are fun to talk to. The throwbacks are always good. Since we didn't talk about them last Saturday, we got to talk about Thanksgiving, because you mentioned if you celebrate Thanksgiving, I'm like, everybody should celebrate Thanksgiving. It is. Not
everyone celebrates,
but but they should. There's no reason not to celebrate Thanksgiving. That's why there's no religious connotations to it. There's no anything other than hanging out with people and giving thanks. And so it's sort of a universal holiday. And the more it's definitely the older I get and the more I do, the more I appreciate it. And the more I do think it's probably my favorite holiday, because if someone, there's no reason, there should be no controversy around it. And I mean, you can always find controversy somewhere, but versus, Christmas or those kind of holidays, and then you're going to those religious connotations, and then maybe there's some religious connotations when it comes to Halloween or something weird. But Thanksgiving is literally just getting together, eating good food, and giving thanks and appreciating people, and everywhere. Like every country could do that. So maybe we need to export more Thanksgiving around the world.
Well, I mean, I'm sure someone can extrapolate the origin and figure out stuff. I agree. Like, there's no reason not to be thankful for the things we have, especially in this country. Despite we have a lot of problems, there's always an underbelly in every country, just probably a different underbelly. But no, I think it's nice to be grateful, have expressed gratitude, and pause. But we should do it more than just once a year.
we should, but we should having a dedicated holiday to it. And as for origins, it's really interesting. There's I think I've mentioned her on our Saturday Salutations before, but Heather Cox Richardson, who's a historian and does these posts on Facebook, whose area of expertise was Reconstruction period around the Civil War, always very educational. And she did a Thanksgiving post, and Thanksgiving actually arose in its present form after the Civil War, or in the process of the Civil War, as a proclamation by Abraham Lincoln. I think after the Battle of Gettysburg, and then it sort of moved from August or October into November. So it's not as long as most of us thought. It really wasn't started by the Pilgrims in any way, shape, or form. But it is super cool. And then the other part I'm excited about, this was our 16th Thanksgiving that we've held. So we did the very first one when I was in fellowship and when we were in Michigan. Mm-hmm. And we've done it every year since then. Other than the pandemic, when it was just our family, me and my kids and my wife.
Nuclear family.
The nuclear family aspect of it, but 16 years of that. And it just kind of always makes me think, because when we were in residency, Christmas was the big holiday for me. So I always took call Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was our call holiday.
Yeah.
But it's been 16 years when no call on Thanksgiving, and nice. Had a great Thanksgiving, good food. So it was awesome. What did you guys do?
We went to go see my parents. It's always going up to see my parents in the Dallas area. My husband lost his parents early in life, so it's always my parents that we are seeing. So we spent just a few days there, pretty much just had some food, hung out, and there really wasn't anything else to that. Just hanging out. Let's see what else. There's something I wanted to mention that I thought was really cool, thinking of gratitude, but it is kind of more of a Christmas theme. Last night my husband and I went to, it's called Community First, and they had their first annual Village of Lights. So in Austin, there's a Zilker Park down more close to downtown that is, it's kind of an annual thing. Tons of lights everywhere. Everyone, it's just too much traffic at this point. It was great in the 90s, and now it's just like, no, I'm not going. If you're in walking distance, it might be a lot more enjoyable, but just tons of people, and it's gotten so popular and it's too crowded. But this is the first annual Village of Lights, and it's kind of out to the east, close to the airport. And it started with a man with a vision who at first was like mobile loaves and fishes, which it was about like providing food to the hungry, the homeless. But he essentially had a vision for a master, kind of like a master community where they create tiny homes. But it's not just what they say, it's not a handout, it's a hand up. And it's not about, homelessness is not about providing just a home, it's actually providing community. So it was masterfully put together. And one time I had gone to volunteer and clean out a chicken coop there when it was all dirt. This place has, I don't know if it's 1,000 right now, but they've already acquired another 27 or something acres to put 1,400 more tiny homes. And they have little kitchenettes, but they have these, it's all designed in a way to makes you get out and interact with people. And they have their, bathroom showers are kind of community, but they're all separated. Very nicely done. They have their headquarters there now. My whole point is they created this this weekend and the following weekend to allow people to see with music and lights, and it's great free family fun. And there's trailers for some food. They have a big amphitheater where they played Elf last night. And then they have some that are like motorhomes that can be pulled into there, but they're mainly tiny homes. But they have they had like a little, what do they call it? Like a market. So everyone that is in this community has to provide a skill, has to contribute, does make some money. And so this like a little economy that's there, everyone has to participate. And so people make like quilts, or they make art. They even have like an auto shop that someone sponsored where they can learn how to, basically learn skills too. And so we bought some, Christmas gifts there at the market, and it helps support what they're doing. It's phenomenal. It touched my heart and my husband's, and we know we're going to go every year until maybe it gets way too crowded and we can't deal with the crowds anymore. But it is really exciting. You have to go off site and take a shuttle because they don't have the parking there was a great turnout for the first night ever. So I just wanted to say that this community and what they're doing is such an amazing example. And there's some famous people, I think, that are pouring money into this too, because they're seeing the strategy.
What's it called again?
If you look up mlf.org, Mobile Loaves and Fishes, mlf.org. I think it originated from kind of from a spiritual, like religious standpoint. I don't know if he was part of a church or whatnot, but it's all about sharing goodness. It's all about doing good for others, but having accountable. Everyone has to hold themselves accountable and put their own work into. But they provide services. Alcoholics Anonymous. They have like these like dance or these pickleball or counseling, or all these services. Everything is just centralized and make it available to people. It's phenomenal what this one man's vision has turned into, because he was so passionate. He just never stopped talking about it and made it happen.
That's awesome.
So anyone that's in the Austin area, I would check it out. I think if they replicate this across the nation, this is something that could revolutionize and remind us what's really important to humans, because I think we ostracize people they may not, acclimate in the traditional way that we do life, and sometimes you have to have a little bit more support in our communities for people that may have struggled or had trauma. And a lot of these people have had trauma happen to them. So that's my guess based on some of the things and issues that they're trying to help them with.
Well, and it's kind of curious. I can't remember if I talked about this either on an episode or not, but when it comes to housing instability and homelessness, we're doing such a rotten job overall in this country. It is atrocious, and all these people are upset with the homeless situation. This is not something that occurred overnight. This is not something that someone's going to be able to, I don't care what political party you are, going to wave your little magic wand and make it all go away like some people think.
Yep.
Unless you're shutting people, unless you don't see it, right? Unless you're using police to just throw them off somewhere, and then you don't see it, it's still there. But the housing thing is such a big deal. And I just became aware of a housing first initiative that they started in Europe, I think either in Finland, where they recognize that you can't get somebody stable who's got trauma, mental health issues, drug issues, all that, abusive situations. You can't get someone stable until they have housing. And so what they've done is focused on finding safe housing first, knowing that once you have safe housing, then you can sort of like Maslow's hierarchy, start working on all those other issues, versus put up all these barriers and say, you have to clear your addiction and clear your mental health issues while you're living on the street. And once you do that, then we're going to look about giving you a house, which is the totally backwards way. So yeah. I would love to see more of these where we're actually getting people in safety, put them in a safe place where then they can start contributing rather than the ridiculousness we're going. And once, maybe if we're doing that, we'll have a little bit better, at least better than what we have. Cause right now it's not good. It's like, it's not good.
Yeah, and I can't remember exactly the 3 rules. There's like a few rules that, you know, they have to abide by to be a community member. And, you know, it's like you have to follow the rules. You know, you've got to contribute, and, you know, there's an accountability factor too, which I love. I love what they're doing. So that's my fave. It was technically a Friday fave because we went yesterday. So
That is a Friday fave.
yeah, shared on Saturday Salutations. Anything from you? Or
well, then the last thing is I should contact the company and see if we can be, or at least be a brand ambassador, because I just love it so much. Because my Voodoo balance board, not my Voodoo balance, my Rev balance board was quite the hit at Thanksgiving. I got my sister on it, my brother-in-law on it, my mother on it, who's 80, and you'd never notice that she was 80, but my sister's buying one. I'm not sure about my mom. I'm kind of dissuading her because she does not have a place in her house. You don't have a place in your house where you can do it safely yet. But if you ever did, it would be awesome. But it's like the greatest thing in the world. Like it is, seriously, people, if you don't have a balance board, like a real nice balance board, go get one. And I'll pull out mine and show it again someday, because it's like the best thing. And the more it spreads, the more happy I get, because, you know, we're going to decrease the risk of falls. And I don't know, it's so cool. It was fun. So everybody was on it, and everybody's like, oh, this is the greatest thing. And you can see the improvement. That's the thing that was amazing, is we talked about that, like the resiliency and just how the adaptability of the human brain and body are. You could see it within hours, how fast people were taking to this, and within days, where, you know, before they're all rigid and having some difficulty, where they're actually being able to hold the board for a minute, 2 minutes at a time. Super cool stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Start believing in your body again and trusting it and all that.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, why don't you take us out?
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us for this Saturday Salutations with the Changed Physician. If you have any questions or comments, you can contact me directly at drkevin@thechangedphysician.com. Join us most Saturdays